Good evening. Anyway, in order for this story to take place, Love Object story, I think the stars all had to align. And to begin this, I was working at a company called Orbax in New York City. This is in the late 60s. And they were in the process of being taken over by a Dutch shipping firm. And it got completed. I was an assistant buyer in budget dresses. And got completed, and the first person from the home office came in. He had a cigarette holder. He held it backwards and said to me, "You will straighten the racks." I didn't say anything. I just walked out and never came back. That's the first thing that got in line. The second thing that came in line, I'm driving down the street in White Plains, New York, and there's a sign that says, "Help wanted." And this is the largest, just a little history lesson, by the way, the largest corporation, second largest corporation in the United States of America it was, and the largest seller of diamonds and furs in the United States, in the world actually. And it's a company called Sears Roebuck and Company. Talk about market share, that's a whole different story. But anyway, so that came in line. And I got hired as an assistant manager in ladies' fashions. Now, the next thing that came in line, my manager, a month and a half after I was hired, was taken out in handcuffs. So now I'm the manager of the ladies' fashions at Sears Roebuck. Now, there's about, you can see the stars are coming into play, one by one. Now, also a little bit of history. There's a lady called Mary Quant, and she invented something called the mini dress and hot pants. All this happened in the same year. So this is, the alignment is starting. You can see this. And right about then, the store had about 300 employees. And I figured it was about 80% women. And of the 240 women, I had 25 ladies in my ladies' fashion departments working for me. I had ladies' dresses, junior clothes, ladies' coats, millinery, that's hats for anybody who doesn't know that word, and ladies' furs. So I was in charge of all that. And of the 240 women in the store, I had a lady, a gal, young lady called Christina Fry. And grown men would walk by her and get a headache looking at her. She was that good looking. They would just melt. And I thought it was like I was popular because every morning all the guys would come to my department and say, "Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. How you doing, Bob?" I thought I was popular, but it was Christina. And not only that, but they used to call me to tell me to call when she looked especially good, I should call them. Guys are animals, basically, and we have to admit it and live up to it. So anyway, now, and anyone who was in department stores in the old days know they weren't allowed to page people. They didn't page people unless someone was being robbed. They used a chime system. You'd bong, 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 bong. Each chime was calling a person. Now, hackers were not invented yet. But one of the guys figured out how to get into the chime system. And when Christina looked especially good, he had his own chime go out over the store. Now, about every 2 weeks, the store manager was really, really prim and proper, would come down and basically give me a lecture about she wasn't dressed properly. First, it was the hot pants, but I explained to him that we sell them. And then it was the mini skirt. I said, we sell those as well. And what I wasn't going to do was spoil the entire store's joy. All the male in the store's joy. So that was, and then it got onto he came to me one day, he was really prim, and he was trying to explain to me that she wasn't wearing enough clothing on the inside. I knew what he was talking about, but I was just playing dumb because, again, I wasn't going to spoil this whole thing. The next thing that happened one day is the chimes went off, and 5 guys are lined up at the escalator saluting as she walked by, just so you understand. This is Sears Roebuck before it opens in the morning. And then another 2 weeks went by, and the store manager came down again and said, we have to do something about this. She's not dressed entirely proper. Basically, some people close your ears, but her headlights were on when she walked in the store. And it went over a lot of, so I just let it go over my head and left it alone. One Saturday morning, for example, she came in late, which is, so not only is she good looking, but she's really cool. And expecting to get the dog ate the homework story. No, she explained to me, she started to explain to me that her boyfriend's going back to college the next day, and they had to stay in the room a little longer. And I just said, that's enough of that story. We can't go there, and because you know, got to be proper. And then one day, the store manager came down, and he said to Christine, Christine, you must wear a brassiere. And Christine looked at him and said, I am. That's the end of the story, folks.